Good afternoon guys, and welcome to another review by the Underground Gaming Geeks, and my name is Matt, and today we're going to be taking a look at Justice League Hero Dice. This game was designed by Andreas Schmidt, and each of these games is a solo game. As soon as you buy more than one and put them together, you can turn it into a multiplayer game. More characters are on their way out soon, I believe along the lines of Flash and Green Lantern, so keep your eyes peeled for those. Before we get into it and start, just a quick shout out to our friends at Chaos Cards, where everything behind you can see was bought from. They are a fantastic online retailer who I use all the time for any of my board gaming or trading card needs. Any supplies, anything, it all comes from Chaos Cards. So if you haven't used them before or you want to take a look, please look in the description below and you'll find a link to their site. They are a fantastic online retailer for everything that you need. So what we'll do is we'll go to the table in a minute, we'll get a bird's eye view and we'll start looking at the game. We'll go through the setup and we'll go through the first round of playing just to show you the basic gameplay. It's a very simple game, even though it's simple to play. It doesn't mean it's actually easy to beat, as I found out on my first go through. But we'll take a look at the components and everything that you need to know to get started. Okay then guys, everything you can see in front of you now is what you get in one of the individual boxes. This is obviously the Superman game. You can see from the card out at the moment. Right, so I'll just take you through everything starting at the top. This is your city card. The city card is the city you're going to be protecting, obviously, in this scenario. It's Metropolis. You get two sides. You get a high value side at 20, which is designed for the solo game. On the reverse, you always get a lower value side of an 18 in this scenario, which is the side you would use when playing a two-player game teamed up with Batman or any of the other heroes that will come out. Place that down on the table. Over here we have a stack of villain cards. We also have reinforcement cards for the villains. These will create one deck, but before you do that, you need to get the first villain card out at the city. So you shuffle up the cards. First one comes out. In this scenario, it is Brainiac. We are going to pop the reinforcements randomly into the deck and then shuffle them. As well as Brainiac being in the city, you also put someone outside of the city. That is actually a reinforcement card, which means we now add someone to it, and that is Metallo. So Metallo has already got a +1 on him because he's got reinforcements. They are outside the city, in the outskirts, so at the moment they're not going to cause any problems, but Brainiac will be. What we also get is some character tokens. The character tokens are only for the 2-player and up game, so what we're going to do is going to pop these to the side and out of the way. Next we have the hero's dice. So Superman has got a set of 6 dice in total. He has 3 blue dice, which are the easiest dice. They have only 1 kryptonite side on them, obviously kryptonite being bad. We have 2 yellow dice, which have 2 kryptonite sides, which again aren't too bad. Then you have the red dice, which is obviously the worst die, which has 3 kryptonite on it in total. We have this arrow here, which is a character token, which signifies which villain you're going to be attacking. In the multiplayer game, you would have more than one villain out at a time. And in this solo player game, you can have, as rounds go on, more than one out at a time. And before you attack, you need to signify who you're going to be attacking. And you do that by placing down your character token. Over here, we have damage counters of 1 and 3, which will obviously be applied to the villains as time goes on through the game. We have Superman's ability cards. These cards allow you to manipulate the game slightly. In this scenario, 2 damage to the targeted villain. Heat vision counts as hits for adjacent villains. You've got freeze breath for heat vision. And they count twice. We gain 1 card out of your discard pile. These cards, as you use them, do get discarded, so that allows you obviously to get 1 card back, which could be very useful towards the end of the game. There's also the ability to change a dice of your choice, and 1 to cause 3 extra damage to the targeted villain. So these go down next to our character card. Our character card itself also has abilities on it. You'll notice here Superman automatically gets 1 crest, which is a super symbol. It basically counts as 1 attack during the game. Every one you roll is also 1 attack. Kryptonite cancels out the super symbols, so obviously you don't want to be getting kryptonite, or if you do, you want more super symbols. 1 heat vision will actually cancel out 1 kryptonite, or 2 frost breath will cancel out 1 kryptonite. So even if you do get kryptonites, you want to be making sure you're cancelling them out so that you can do as much damage as possible. So that's your player card. It gives you all the information you need to know. Obviously just helps remind you through the game of everything that's going on. So we'll get right into the game. Our first villain out at the moment is Brainiac. You'll notice on Brainiac it's got a -1. Basically this means we have to take our dice out of the game. we get to choose, so obviously we're going to get rid of the red die, being the worst die that there is. We're not going to lose anything of any decent value. Every card has a setback on it, or something that stops you being able to team up on it in a multiplayer game, or attack it on your own in a multiplayer game. Obviously in a solo game they don't come into play. So we start by rolling our dice. That is a fantastic roll to start with. Once you've rolled your dice, you choose one set of dice to lock in. In this scenario, obviously, we're going to lock the yellow dice in straight away with 2 hits. That's fantastic. It's the best roll I've actually had in this game so far. Then we're going to re-roll the rest of the dice, which would usually be the blue and the red. Obviously, we've lost the dice at the moment now, so we're going to roll the blue. Here we have another super symbol, and we have heat vision. Obviously, the heat vision isn't going to cancel out any kryptonite, because there is no kryptonite either on the villain, unlike with Metallo, or on the dice. We've managed to evade totally any negative effects. So then what you do is you apply your damage. So this is going to cause 3 damage to Brainiac, so nice and easy to get a 3 damage token. That leaves 1 left on him. If we wanted to, we could manipulate the game now. Plus 2 damage would take him straight out. I think it's a bit early in the game, to be honest, to be using these, so I'll save them. And then you'd go to the end of round effects and clean up. So what you'd do now is you would check if any villains have been defeated. If they had, you'd put them in the defeated villains pile. You're then going to move anybody from outside the city into the city. So you always need to keep tabs on this as well. It's 4, 3, so that's 7 plus 1 obviously is 8. If this ever totals more than 12 in a solo game, they cannot come into the city. The person who's trying to come in will have to go straight over here, which means they're going to be causing damage, and there's no way of getting rid of them once they're by the city. So you need to keep an eye on that, and that would obviously come into play with the card abilities. If we were very close, I could have taken him out this round using one of the cards and made sure we kept the number low. Once you've done that, you then turn over another card to be in the outskirts. This is Doomsday, and then you would effectively start the round again. Obviously in this round we're still -1 die because Brainiac is still here. Metallo as well has 2 kryptonite automatically, so straight away we are down 2. We need to do something to combat that, and combat it quickly. I did just remember, actually, I did forget totally, that was the dice we rolled. We actually had 1 super symbol on Superman's player card already, so actually we did beat Brainiac. Brainiac was destroyed. Brainiac comes into the defeated villains pile, and we had done him. So we've only got Metallo to worry about this round, which means we do bring in the extra die. My apologies for that, but I did just totally forget about Superman's ability on the card there. Batman's got his own ability as well on his card, and all the heroes that come out will have, so always keep tabs on what is going on there. Once you've set up for the next round, you would go again. Obviously, target your villain, roll the die, go with all the effects of the die. Next villain in the city. It's as simple as that. Obviously, if there's too many points, as I said, they will overrun. At the end of the game, anyone that's managed to overrun and is by this card, their value will be taken off the value of the city. So if Doomsday had got through, for example, you'd be down to 14 points. 14 points still isn't bad, that's action hero, but obviously the less you can have escape, the better. On my first game, I thought I was doing really well. I was keeping on top of things, I was getting rid of villains. In the end, I ended up as a wannabe hero, so as you can tell, it's not actually as easy as it looks. Even though it's an easy game to play, defeating it with a degree of superheroism is not as easy as you'd think. So that's the game, very simple, great as a lightweight game. Obviously it's not very heavy, so for some of the more hardcore gamers out there, it's not going to be the choice that's for them. Me, I play with my friends, I play with my family and my kids, so it's quite a good game for playing at the sort of family and kids level, I think. Really fun. As I say, you can play it as a solo game. There's not that many solo games on the market, so it's a nice little one for that, especially if you're a comics fan. And then also, obviously, you can bring in the extra games, such as the Batman game. Bring Batman in straight away, we've got a 2-player game. The more players, the harder the game gets, in my opinion. But that's basically all there is to it. It's very, very simple. Any questions about any of the rules or any of the gameplay, just drop us a comment below and I'll talk through it. So just a quick roundup of my final thoughts. Personally, I like these games. They're very simple. They're good for the family environment, which I have at home. And they're what I'd class as in the pocket money price range. They aren't going to set you back much at all. They have really, really nice dice. The dice might look stickered. They're not stickered, they're actually high quality printing. I've not had any scratches or anything caused to them. Very, very nice dice. Going from the fact that Superman and Batman are totally different, I would assume that every set that comes out is going to have their own custom dice with their own custom sides that have different effects. Batman's here, you can see there's bat symbols, there's Batmobiles. It's very nice. Obviously very themed for Batman, black and grey, perfect. The artwork inside the boxes, if you're a fan of comics, it's brilliant. It's the little details like that that make games for me. But yeah, as I say, it's not a very heavy game. It's quite lightweight, so obviously make a choice based on the type of games you like. But that's the review. Thanks for watching. If you can, please subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. We are at YouGamingGeeks. I'll put a link below. Also, we're the same on Facebook. Give us a follow, give us a like, help support us. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next review.